All right, welcome to another episode of Talking Metaverse with me, Tan. And today I am joined by Mr. Jussi Salonen from Helsinki XR Center. How are you, Jussi? Welcome.
I'm fine, thanks you, and glad to be here. Good to talk
Yeah.
about XR.
Yes, let's do that. Can you tell me what is Helsinki XR Center?
Gladly. Yeah, so I work at the Helsinki XR Center, and we are a research and development center and a developer hub that works with Metropolia University of Applied Sciences here at Helsinki. What we do is, on the big picture, we support the Finnish XR ecosystem by providing resources and materials and information to all the players, regardless if they are public sector or private corporations or artists, or basically anyone who has a project related to XR is welcome to us. And how do we practically do it is that we run a developer hub, which offers free facilities and support for various players in the XR industry. In addition, we carry out research and development. We have a library of published scientific research here in Finland about anything that is related to XR. If someone makes say a degree or a master's student thesis about the haptic gloves or a certain technology that is related with VR glasses, we have probably heard it and we have probably archived it.
Wow.
And last but not least, we also provide services for organizations. We do workshops, excursions, and visits that regard to XR. We tell the companies what is extended reality industry, what is happening, who are the major players, what kind of information do you need, what kind of resources do you need if you actually plan to have an extended reality project of some kind of yourself. And we want to spread the information. We want people to know what extended reality is and what can it be used for.
Amazing. Now, you mentioned the phrase Finnish XR ecosystem. That's really exciting because that suggests there's enough going on for us to say that there is a Finnish XR ecosystem. So is there a lot going on? Is there a lot of companies? Do you have a lot of members? How thriving is the ecosystem?
The ecosystem is there, but it's still, how should I say, quite infantile. It's still in its baby shoes, as I guess in all around the world at the moment. I've been only 6 months in the XR industry myself, so my information is a bit limited, and I might have not the latest, accuratest information, but I'll help. I'll help as much as I can. What I know is we have approximately 200 companies or small time companies or entrepreneurs here who are working with something that is related to XR industry. They are spread widely. Some of them are content creators, some of them are application creators, some of them are hardware creators, some of them are software creators. I think the most of them are doing something regarded with content. But there are a few players too who are working with hardware, say probably Varjo, probably the most known one, the visor provider.
Now, when you started, that was the term. That was, when I say you, I mean the Helsinki XR Center. XR was the hot term. Today, that's kind of become Metaverse. Would you agree? And first of all, how would you define XR? And do you have a definition for the Metaverse? How it's evolving? XR has evolved into Metaverse. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I just jumped in like 6 months ago to the scene. I wasn't here when the Helsinki XR Center was founded, but I've learned enough that I could say that XR is still, extended reality is still kind of for the big audience, it's still waiting for its breakthrough. And Metaverse, I would say that is the next big thing from the inner group, for the inside, the players in the field. They understand what the metaverse could be. It's like, it's actually hard to define, but I guess it would be like a virtual space that is connected to other virtual spaces where you can create content, communicate to people, have interactions, change data, material, and money, assets globally, regardless of where you are in the globe. Like, I guess the easiest way to describe it would be like as it's also called Internet 3.0. So it would be internet, but instead of looking at it from a two-dimensional screen, you would be immersed it through virtual glasses, and you could imagine watching television or surfing the internet, but instead you're changing from web page to another. You press a controller button and you're instantly immersed in a different setup or a game or a software.
So like you said, you've been in this world for 6 months. So is it fair to say you're still, I mean, your excitement level is high? What excites you most about this?
I guess it's the possibilities that immersed extended reality brings, the immersion level, and how it can enhance very many industries and how we see and how we perceive things, like how metaverse and extended reality has branches to all different fields of industry. It could be applied to anywhere. It could be to any education, military and law enforcement, health tech, architecture, industrial planning, basically you name it. It has possibilities all over. And what it does, what excites me is the level of immersiveness, the enhanced experience you have when you're totally immersed in three-dimensional space. Like as a concrete example, today when you have an architect, he draws a blueprint. He uses pen on a pencil on a paper to create a kind of a map. Then he gives it to the engineer, construction engineer, who interprets this drawing and tries to build a building on it. The architect might actually build a miniature version of the building, but you don't get the sense of how it feels, how this looks, how it feels, what's the space of it. Well, and then comes the interior designer, who's going to decide which kind of tables and which kind of chairs is. Now, this all is going to change when you do this with extended reality equipment. Like you could have the architect to design, you say, church or a warehouse or whatever, and you can actually give the very same set of visor then to the construction master, and he actually sees it. He can actually walk through the whole church and see it in its real size and how it's going to look and how it's going to feel. And this is where we put the bricks in line. And okay, that brick was a little bit off the picture. Move it back. And then after this, you got the interior designer who comes in. They all have the shared vision. They all have the same, literally the same picture. This is where I see the big possibilities.
Yes. And the key word you said there, which is the absolute key for me, the thing that I always tell people who ask me this same question is there's less interpretation. And the less interpretation, the better, because any type of communication, there's always room for error. There's always room for miscommunication. And obviously this isn't perfect yet, but it narrows the room for variation in interpretation.
Yes, and this is actually, I think, why the many big industry players are interested in extended reality applications and jumping into the game, because they see clear. They're always, big corporations are always thinking money first, and they see a clear chance to save money when there's less errors in the process, because everyone has this shared verifiably very same picture, situational awareness.
Love it. Love it. Okay, now there's a cool thing that you guys did a few months ago. Tell me about this survey. Like, what were the origins? Why did you begin? And what is it? Tell me what this survey is first.
Yeah, so we did this kind of a survey where we interviewed as many Finnish extended reality small companies or companies as we could. And we wanted to know what is the current state of extended reality industry in Finland? What are the pains and gains of the corporations and companies who are playing in the field at the moment? We wanted to know how they're doing, what kind of problems they have faced, how do they see their future, and in addition, we had a small part of the history as well. And we wanted to know specifically, for example, how the COVID-19 pandemic affected this corporation. Was it a problem for them? How did they manage through it? Also, we wanted to know. We asked about what is their relation to technology, to employees, the financial side. What kind of problems do they have, and what kind of possibilities they see in future? In other words, trying to understand what they do and what they need, and how could we help them to achieve success.
Okay, so have you finished going through the data?
Yeah.
How far along are you in the process of?
We are already ready. We actually made the survey. We have already showed it to our board, and we are, say, one technical side we need to do before we can actually publish in one of our own blogs. We need to set it in a certain form, but the results are actually already done, and we're going to send it to all the companies that were kind enough to participate in the survey. And I can also give you comments and information, insights about the results.
Okay, so you haven't published it yet, so this is a little bit of an exclusive.
Yeah, we haven't published it yet. It will go out soon, but so far it's only in our use. All
right, so after looking at all the data, what jumps out immediately? Like, what were the things that you noticed? What were the key trends, the most interesting trends?
Okay, we have the highlights already crunched here, so maybe I'll just cheat a little bit and borrow my memos if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay, so first one was like the industries. Where is this already applied? Which industries already use XR and not planning to maybe go forward? Who are the first players? It's clearly the education, different kind of industry, like big industry, machinery companies, etc. And the culture, different kind of cultural players. And this means like museums, for example. Not in culture, we are talking other than gaming industry and entertainment, but so-called traditional culture. Other industries who were also heavily involved were healthcare, obviously the entertainment and the gaming industry, construction, and sales and marketing. These are the companies.
Are those in order that you mentioned? So you mentioned education first, and then industrial and culture.
Yes, I think the first three are the biggest, at least in Finland. Education.
So education is the biggest. That is great to hear.
Education is probably the biggest because they got most, I think, applications and already solutions. They can show the value of immersed learning, and because in the last few years everyone's been used to remote working and remote studying. So there's a quite clear advance or quite clear benefits, getting it more immersive, getting the glasses, virtual glasses can bring definitely an extra layer of interesting elements to studying compared to watching or learning, participating studies through your laptop screen.
That's awesome. This is what makes me proud to be almost Finnish, proud to be a resident of Finland. I'm not Finnish, but I love the fact that education is placed such highly in level of importance.
Yeah, and it was also interesting to note that this same trend seems to be going on around Europe, because there was just in June. There was another report, a European Union level report of some kind of a strategic industry report of VR/AR industry, which was a more in-depth dive into the XR extended reality industry on the European level. And it had very similar findings that almost exactly the same fields of industry were the biggest ones and the most fastest growing. The biggest difference was that in European level, the healthcare was in the top tier 2. It was like one of the biggest fields. And to be honest, in Finland, if we had had a bigger set of companies, it might have shown in the data too. So it's a safe bet to count healthcare as one of the big 4.
Great. They should raise our faith in humanity, that we're taking care of education and healthcare. This is what we're using technology to improve, which is, I can't think of much more noble things to do.
Yeah, and it's also a place where it actually concretely helps and the benefits can be shown to anyone in a rather easy and self-explaining way.
Cool. What else? What else is interesting? What other categories do you have?
Oh, well, I'll go with the COVID part. This was kind of an interesting to notice that this kind of divided the companies in 2. Say approximately 40% of the companies said that COVID-19 pandemic had a seriously bad impact on them. It made it hard. The deals that were already made were canceled, and there was no chance to actually showcase their technologies, because you couldn't just go visit a customer and give them the glasses or visors to try on. So this was a bad thing. But on the other hand, another 30% said that COVID actually boosted their business, because suddenly there became a huge demand for remote solutions for work and for education. And the whole world kind of took this so-called great digital leap that has been forecasted for 5 or 10 years, and now it actually happened. So it kind of and these 2 kind of evened each other out. So that 20% described that 40% said that COVID was bad for business, and 40% said that it was good for business, and 20% said that it was neither, or it was both, but the kind of both sides of the equation canceled each other out.
Interesting. Yeah, it would be interesting to hear, get follow-up from them now that we're kind of post-COVID.
Yeah.
Have they? Yeah.
We had a follow-up question that, judging from your current state, from this day's perspective, how do you see your future? And this was heartwarming to hear that almost every single company believed that the future is going to be good. Their near future is going to be either good or very good, and that they're gonna move forward and they're gonna grow. And
I think that's a common thing among tech people, is we're optimistic about the future. That's why we're doing this, because we believe technology is going to help the future.
Yeah.
Excellent. Anything else?
Yeah. Well, personally, I found it interesting as we work here in the XR Center to help these companies, and what are their problems, and we ask about the challenges, and the 3 biggest ones were not in specific order, but the three biggest issues that raised many times were clearly lack of funding or proper funding instruments. This was both on a Finnish level and on European level, that there's no kind of an funding instrument that would suit well for this kind of tech or this kind of startups as extended reality startup. There's too much risk and too little forecasted benefits that could be seen, and the kind of venture capitalists and the risk money players are it's too risky for them, and it doesn't kind of drop into any traditional funding instruments either. So yeah, getting funding was one of the definitely biggest ones. Second one was finding proper workforce or labor, because to exaggerate it a little bit, But the problem is that what XR companies need is they need unicorns. They need people who are highly skilled. They should be like senior level developers who should understand rather both technical side and aesthetical side. They should have project management skills, international skills, hopefully, etc., etc. There's a huge list of demand, and at the same time, the startup usually they lack the money, so they can't pay these guys. If they get someone who scores checks all the boxes that they are looking for, this guy is going to get a 5-digit, 6-digit salary on some other country, on some other company. So they can't compete with the general market.
By the way, are all these companies that you surveyed, are they all in the capital region?
No, I'd say half of them are in the capital region and half of them are scattered around the Finland. So this is not only a problem of the capital area. This seems to be companies everywhere around Finland. And I think the same was in the European level too, if I remember right, the strategic report, that the companies they would definitely need more labor. They would definitely need more workforce who has this kind of an high technical skills and high level of professionality. And this is also a problem because actually in Finland, there's only one school that teaches extended reality, that has a study faculty dedicated to that you can have a degree of extended reality producing or something. So,
which school is that?
That's actually Metropolia, the one we are working.
Okay.
So there's a huge problem with the labor.
Yeah, the need for talent, and we all.
Yeah, and the third challenge was underdevelopment industry understanding of the possibilities of extended reality. This was surprisingly many mentioned this, that it's hard to sell something that when the customer doesn't understand what is this about. Very often people see extended reality and all the tech related, it's something like a gimmick. It's something that should be, like an extra feature of marketing department or gaming industry, but it's not a serious business. People have this kind of a false image of the field and what can be done with it. And this was generally considered as a hindrance or a slowing down effect, because you have to have first you should kind of educate the customer, what is this tech, what is this field, and what can be done with it. And after that, you get to actually sell your product, if you get to that point.
That's a great point. And that's one of the things that we're trying to do here on Talking Metaverse, which is educate the wider industry, the wider market on why these technologies are more than video games, really. Yeah. Now, let me ask you, Helsinki XR Center, you have all these XR companies, but do you also have relationship with potential buyers, potential customers? Do you make any of those connections?
We kind of we don't have a list of potential customers, because many companies in Finland, they can't. This is my personal opinion, but I don't believe that extended reality tech can be pushed in a way, in marketing terms, pushed. It needs to be done with the pull strategy. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make XR or extended reality such an interesting field that the companies contact us, and then when they contact us, then we can share them into our network and tell them, hey, there's this kind of company, Valio or VR or Telia or Sonar or Nokia or something. They are now have an XR project, and they are looking for someone to actually pull it off. That, like, who's gonna grab it.
So what is your strategy on making XR more visible to the public?
Yeah, that's what we do here. We collect information, we share information, we constantly educate people. We have visitors here from international and domestical visitors. We have people from business, from Business Finland, which is a funding organization. We have people from Helsinki kaupunki, Espoon kaupunki, like local city municipals. We educate them and tell them what we can do, what can be done with XR. We showcase them in our showroom. We show them literally, put the visor on them and show them, hey, this is what we're talking about. And this is usually when you get the wow effect. Like we had a group from, I think, Belgian investors who were interested. They were on a trip around Finland, and they had a quick peek on very many different industries. And this was just one of their stops. And at the first half hour, when we showcased the PowerPoint and told them about extended reality, what does it mean? What's the difference between AR and MR and VR, etc. And they were like, well, almost yawning. Like, then when we go to the showroom and we actually put the visors on and show them this can be done. Oh, you were from the construction industry. You probably want to see the BIM model in the glasses version. Oh, hey, you're from this industry. You probably want to see this one. And that's when you get the people's eyes start to glow. Like, yeah. I didn't. You told me about this, but now I see. And yes. This is what we try to do here.
Yeah, that's the number one rule in sales and marketing. Tell them what's in it for them, like what's relevant to them.
Yeah. Actually, now that while we are already kind of close to the topic, this is what we try to do, and we have one answer now. How do we gonna do it? We have recently, in 3 weeks ago, we launched a new service, a kind of a networking platform that we're planning to use on combining the players, bringing all the players in the XR field under the same roof. The idea is that we have both this service from an external service provider, and we now have an internet site that works as a platform. You could imagine it as you could describe it as a kind of a LinkedIn for XR projects. But the difference is that you don't only combine companies looking for labor and labor searching for companies. In this platform, you can, for example, you can search funders. You can search institutions that are offering research projects. You can search investors. You can search partners to develop some project of your own. And as a company, you can search, say, a developer. You can offer your own products. You can offer only a product or service or your expertise. So it's like a one-stop marketplace where we are trying to gather all the XR companies in the Finland. And when we got enough big mass of these XR companies, then when we educate the other industry companies, that when they get interested, when Telia or Sonera or some big players say, hey, now we've heard the message, now we want to buy something regarding to XR, so we can always just show them, go to the XR network. Here you can find all the players in the field.
Awesome. All right. Well, I will have to link more information on that in the description to this. We are almost out of time.
Yeah.
So did you tell me the name of the network? What's the name of the network?
Yeah, it's network.helsinkixrcenter.com.
And I assume it links from the homepage.
Yeah, yeah, you can find the link from our homepage too, but this is a direct
but to go directly to it, network.help. Yeah, I'll put the text on the screen. Cool. Jussi, thank you so much.
Thank you.